Well, I thought, in the spirit of Scott being here, instead of kind of focusing on traditional research, we could go into a little bit of a platform focus type of thing. Since using Tasty Trade, I've I think developed a few favorite features of my own. So I thought, from a research perspective, I could share those and explain a little bit, something behind them, why I think they're useful. And obviously, Scott, it'd be great for you to chime in, because you know the entire business on that side of the business. So let's go ahead and jump to the first slide, if we can. So I had 5, but then I found another one, so now it's going to be 6. And I think these really encompass the majority of how we do trading, how we connect Tasty Trade to Tasty Live on the content side. A lot of it is intertwined and makes it easy to watch the show and also do the trading. And also a lot of these are very unique to Tasty Trade, and really, I think, personally, it's obviously, of course, we're biased, but that's why we work here, right? So, but anyway, so number one, I think the ease of visualizing IV and expected move, by far one of the best features, considering we talk about IV every single day. Probably the majority of the topics we talk about are IV. So, as an example, I pulled up the SPY options chain, right? Just using this as an example to show, you have 3 ways to look at IV just from a single snapshot, and this is every single stock you can look at. You have the expected move on the top right. You have the bar that shows you the expected move if you want to visualize it on the actual chain, on the actual strikes itself, and you have the IV rank at the top right corner. Those are basically the 3 metrics that we use when constructing a trade.
Sure, and on the right-hand side, you're talking about the number in parentheses, which is 454 in your example you're using there. Right, perfect. And in the middle, you're looking at that, what color is that line? Is it amber?
It's orange. Well, amber, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Scott will tell us, Anton. Don't speak until you're spoken to.
Amber.
Amber it is. Very good. Anton, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, anyway, you get IV ranking expected move basically as soon as you open the options chain. I think trading options is the best. It's one of the best things you look at, or one of the most useful things. So that would be number 1. You ready for number 2?
Sure.
Okay, let's go number 2. Okay, this is something I think very intuitive for people who don't usually trade options, or maybe at least are coming to this side of, or this platform. We have risk and return all in one place. I think if you're trying to gauge your risk, your probability of profit, how much buying power you're using, one of the most frustrating things, as I've looked at other platforms, right? They're kind of all in different places. Here, like when you put the order in, or as soon as you put a strategy in, it updates all those numbers for you: the pop, the CVaR, the P50, the delta, the max profit, the max loss, the buying power, all in one line. Probably one of the most useful features to gauge risk and reward, considering that now we just added CVaR, which now gives you a whole nother depth of looking at tail risk when you look at short option strategies, or any strategy really. And I think that when you combine that now with probability of profit, your max loss, your buying power, you have a comprehensive list of what your risk looks like, and you really don't have to.
So you have all 9 of them that you can put up there. You have them all up there in the row, which is nice. Now you look at your buying power there. I don't know if you're in a margin account or something else. No, you're not in a margin. Yeah. An IRA account. You must be in a margin account. Your buying power is $8,600 and change. Your conditional value of risk, which is a new metric for showing you what risk looks like, almost like without the tail part of it, is $870. Good to know. Still realize that your buying power is going to be $8,600 and change.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the useful, when you have it all on one line, you can easily compare each number to each other to make sure that you're getting exactly what you want, as opposed to kind of, having to go back and stuff. It just makes it very easy to pick the strategy you want, given the risk that the strategy has. And you saw, I included the actual strategy. I put, 434 straddle, an example. This is one. Right? But if you drag it and you make it a 433 straddle, or you open up the strikes, or you buy the wings, all those numbers update real time, so you don't have to, go back and forth to compare those risks.
Very good.
Awesome. All right, number 3. I think I didn't really know how to show this except by showing 2 charts that trade 2 different things, but you can trade stocks, options, futures, and crypto all in one place. I think that's something very underrated that, I think on the show is, I mean, I don't know how much you could talk about it, but it is a very, very cool feature. I mean, you don't have to go from account to account, have a separate place to trade all this stuff. It's one platform, and you trade everything, and you have all your positions in one place.
Scott?
I think that's actually kind of unique, because I don't know about, I mean, I know you guys have been in the industry for a long time, but when you're coming into, you know, if and I've talked to some, you know, younger people, if you're coming into, you know, trading, like one of the first things you ask is, okay, well, what do I do? Which one do I use for stocks, and which platform would I use for options? Or, okay, what about crypto? Okay, what about futures? And I think with the technology today, you don't really have to ask that question anymore, because you can just pick one that does everything very well, right? And I think that's one of the most underrated features, I think.
I mean, I
agree.
I mean,
I'm biased, but I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4. Let's go to number 4. We got the platform is IV focused. I'm going to put this in the 2 buckets, because the real meat's in 4B. But 4A, the platform is IV focused. I think if you're trading options, it's the only thing. It's the best thing to be focused on. I just pulled up basically all the IV metrics we have that you can pull up for any single stock. If you're looking at your watch list, you have the IVX, you have your IVR, you have your historical volatility for 30 days, you have your IVHV, like a 30-day change. You have, I mean, everything you can think about implied volatility. We have every single metric available that is relevant. So if we go to 4B, so the next slide, you can plot the IV rank for any stock, which I think isn't talked about enough, because even I think I was on the show and I told somebody, yeah, here, type in apple.iv, and like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. And I was like, yeah, that's the whole point, right? So you type in .ivr to any equity symbol, and you get the actual chart of its IV rank, just as if you were looking at its normal price chart, but it's IV rank. So, you know, now not only can you look at IV rank for any stock, but you can look at how it's performed in the last year. You know, has IV rank changed? Has IV rank decreased and stuff? I think that's really cool if you're looking at placing a trade between 2 stocks that have a high IV rank. Now you can say, how long has it been high, or did it just go high? You know, kind of underrated.
Totally agree.
I think Scott's downplaying it a little bit here, or slow playing it, as we would call in poker. Yes, it's something that, and I'm glad you brought it to my attention. I've got a few emails about it, Anton, so you must have mentioned it in the past. It's something I don't look at, and you want to know something? It's probably something you should look at.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a great thing to have and do.
Because again, IVR just in its own what does it tell you? Right. And to say, you go, listen, is it 20? How long has it been 20? How long has it been 1? How long has it been 80?
Exactly.
And look at this chart. That's impressive. Because if you would have asked me, I would not have said, because you're looking at a year-to-date chart here for Apple. And just in 6 months that it's gone from, looks like it was about 90, right?
Yeah, pretty close.
Down to 1.
Yep. So, 60 to 1. Let's throw out
60 to 1, whatever it is. That's
right.
Obviously a massive move. Again, visually, just it's an impressive thing to look at, and I do agree with you. Most people don't know that we have that.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can even, if you're looking at it on a yearly basis, you can even basically look at it as if you're looking at the IV of the stock, because the direction is going to be the same. So anyway, okay,
next.
Let's go. Go ahead.
Next, go ahead.
Yep. So number 5, another thing, I think that as we have new traders coming into the pool, there's a lot of questions about, well, I would have gone to your platform earlier, but the charting feature, I have these charts. I just want to say, charting features very advanced on this. I mean, I don't look at charts as much myself, but I have looked at charts in the past, and I kind of know what to look for when I'm doing, if I were to do technical analysis. You can pull up any index or any indicator you realistically would need in the platform without any additions, right? So it's already there for you. I just wanted to point that out for some people who ask or have questions, that we do have charting features, and they are very good.
I know we're running a little bit long here, and I want to catch the opening, but how many charting packages? Because that's always been, the shtick in the background. Tasty Trade doesn't have the charting packages and the features on the chart side that other firms, which we won't mention right now, that you also help build, have. How many charting features do we have now at Tasty Trade?
I don't know, but a lot. It keeps getting better. We just rolled out a massive.
When you come back on the show, I want you to have that answer.
I will have an answer. Sorry, sir.
Next one, Anton.
All right, last one. Again, want to mention this mobile app is superb. I think if you are looking, like if you're a younger trader and you want to look at, because a lot of stuff's done on the phone now, there is a mobile app. It's very good, and I wouldn't write it off just because we talk about the desktop feature all the time. Very good mobile app, especially if it goes on the go. So.
And you just did a big update on the mobile app also, correct?
Yeah. And the web just
Awesome.
got a massive
Awesome.
overall.
So check those out.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you,
Awesome.
Anton. I'm going to take a quick 90-second break and come back, catch the opening.
Thanks,
Sound good to
Anton.
you?
All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.